Alright, what's up guys? New Blue Eyes deck profile. Probably your favorite deck profile on the channel. There's some new cards that have come out. We've got Destined Rivals. It's a new trap card. This is a control deck. Control build of Blue Eyes. Have done it before on the channel. People seem to really like it. It's a lot closer to pure than a lot of the other Blue Eyes builds that I have on the channel. Are no needle fibers in this. It is extremely it's pretty close to pure. I mean, you know, it's close enough. And then we've got like other Blue Eyes cards in here. It's a lot of Blue Eyes cards for sure, but let's get started. We are playing 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. Play your favorite artworks. These happen to be mine, of course. You know, you live your life and pick whatever ones you like, but these ones I think are by far the coolest looking. So just play those or whatever you want. Next we play 2 copies of Alternative Eyes. You do not have to play 3 copies anymore, just because this card is searchable 6 different ways now. Like this card is super searchable, and it's almost outrageous how searchable this card is in the deck. You've got cards like Bingo Machine Go that can search it. You've got cards like the Melody of Awakening Dragons, Chaos Space. There's like 8 cards in the deck that search this card. There's absolutely no reason to play more than 2. I would say cut it down to 1, but it's good to... Sometimes it's good to start with this card in your hand so you can go in and search something else. But yeah, definitely a very... You know, it's definitely needed. Also, interestingly enough, a lot of decks right now are struggling with this card right here, Dragoon. This deck does not struggle with Dragoon at all. It has so many outs to Dragoon, it just doesn't even matter. They could set up 5 Dragoons, it wouldn't even matter. You'd get over them. Like, this deck does not struggle against Dragoon. You can OTK with them having a Dragoon. That's how good it is. But basically, a super easy out against Dragoon is you just special summon Alternative Eyes. It's summoning condition. You just attack, crash with the Dragoon, and that's it. It's gone. Like, it doesn't even matter. They're both 3,000, and you basically gave up nothing to get rid of it. You gave up your battle phase, but outside of that, you don't really give up anything, and it is the control variant. So let's continue. We play 1 copy of Chaos Dragon Levineer. This is one of your cards you search off of Melody. 1 Chaos Emperor, the Dragon of Armageddon. You can actually, worst case scenario with its non-pendulum effect, you can finish a duel off, which that effect is pretty decent. You pay 1,000, you send cards to the graveyard, inflict damage. It's pretty good. But then its other effect is you can just pay 1,000 life points and then target one of your banished dragons and return it to your hand, which is also very good because you will banish stuff with the other chaos monsters that you're playing, like, you know, Levineer and stuff like that. But it's definitely very useful for those purposes. Next, we're playing 1 copy of Blue Eye Solid Dragon. This guy is making his grand return in the deck. I'm giving him another shot. Like, I think he's good. He could have been better, but I'm giving him another shot. Basically, on summon, he targets a monster on the field, negates its effects. That's number 1. Effect number 2 is you can shuffle this back into your deck and then special summon a Blue Eyes monster, a Blue Eyes White Dragon from the deck. It's not a Blue Eyes monster, a Blue Eyes White Dragon. But yeah, it's like decent. I don't like his stats. You can't search him off of Melody, not that you would want to. But like I said, I'm iffy about this card. Because it's like you summon him during the end phase most of the time, and you don't really want him to get anything during the end phase. I'm like off and on about him. Next we play 1 copy of Dragon Spirit of White. He's definitely, I like him a lot better than the other one. He's good against like control decks because you can banish their stuff, and you can recur him so easily in this deck that it doesn't even matter that you're playing money because you can bring him back with stuff like Monster Reborn and Return of the Dragon Lord, Silver's Cry, all that beautiful stuff. So you can just keep looping him. It's not even a problem. So we play 1 copy of him. Next we play this card I think in pure Blue Eyes, this next card is an absolute must-have 3 of. We play 3 copies of Nebula Dragon. In the pure build, like I said, in the pure build, this card is a must-have. You have to play this in pure Blue Eyes. It is way too good not to play. So this basically lets you reveal 1 other level 8 in your hand, and you get to special summon both of them, and then their effects are negated, and then you're locked into light and dark dragons. None of that matters. Those restrictions don't matter because basically that's all you're playing anyway, and it's for the rest of the turn. So you can do all your other nonsense leading up to this, and then this is your final play. But having Nebula Dragon and a Blue Eyes White Dragon in your opening hand is better than having an Alternative Eyes and a Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand. It's just that good. Just because it's basically a one. Just by having this and any of the Blue Eyes, any level 8 monster in your hand, it's basically like a 100% free rank 8 every single time, and you are playing a bunch of other control cards that I'm going to show you later, but it really is disgusting. Like, this card is so good in pure blue eyes. Then we play 3 copies of the Whitestone of Ancients. Like I said, this is the slower version. Normally you'd max out on Legend, but in this particular case you're maxing out on Ancients. Ancient summons basically a Blue Eyes during the end phase. Also, you can banish it from the graveyard in order to add back a Blue Eyes. A lot of people forget that's a very important effect. But basically, yeah, you're playing a slow deck. And this card's not bad with some of the new cards. Like, it's actually pretty good with Soul Successor, because you can summon this and then send the Whitestone of tribute the Whitestone of Ancients, and then you can send a card to the graveyard and special summon a Blue Eyes. Like, it has like almost like a Sage effect built in. But yeah, I think it's really good. And then you get to basically summon another Blue Eyes during the end phase and banish another card if it's the Spirit. Then we play 1 copy of Whitestone of Legend. Again, pretty good as a Blue Eyes. If you're building like a really strong combo version, you need to play more of these. And if you're building a slower version of Blue Eyes, you need to play 3 of the Ancients. But they all work out, man. They're awesome. Then we play 1 copy of Galactic Spiral Dragon. This is another really good card for the deck. You only have to really play 1 because it is a hard once per turn. But this card basically, if it's in your graveyard or in your hand and you control 2 light or dark dragons, you can special summon this for free from your graveyard or hand. And then also it has a secondary effect where you can make all monsters you currently control become level 8. So you can actually do rank 8 plays using stones, and then stones, when they're sent to the graveyard, you get to get their additional effects. So it's really, really cool. One of my favorite cards in that regard. So that is all of the monsters. Next, we are going to play the spells here. We play 3 copies of the Melody of Awakening Dragon. It's still a very good search card in Blue Eyes because it's not a hard once per turn at all. And it adds 2 cards, which is really cool. It is annoying when this card gets ashed, but I mean, it's still worth it because sometimes you discard a stone, you're getting an effect anyway. We play 2 copies of Chaos Space because it is a hard once per turn, but this basically lets you send a light or dark, and then you add the opposite light. You send a light or dark, and then you add a light or dark that can't be normal summoned or set. So if you discard a dark, you're adding Alternative Eyes here. If you discard a light, you're adding like the Chaos Emperor Dragon or Levianeer. But it doesn't matter, you're always going to add something. Its second effect is really cool too. You can banish this from the graveyard and then you can target one of your banished cards. And then shuffle it back, put it at the bottom of the deck and then draw a card. So it adds a little more draw power, a little more consistency, and it searches things, which is cool. Then we play 3 copies of Trade-In. Draw cards, simple. Cards of Consonance, 2 copies of that. 1 copy of 1 for 1. So I like that card quite a bit. It lets you summon the stones. 1 copy of Monster Reborn. 3 copies of Return of the Dragon Lords. These are all the revival spells coming up. They're very important. 1 copy of Silver's Cry, which is more important than ever because you actually want to go first with this particular variant, set up a few different interruptions, and then you want to be able to summon stuff during your opponent's turn. It's really, really good for that sort of thing. It's good with it's good for various things. You just want to summon a Blue Eyes onto the field so that you can use your new negate card, or you can use the ultimate creature destruction and stuff like that. But it's very important for that purpose, and it's very good for playing during your opponent's turn. Play 1 copy of Bingo Machine Go. This is another search. There's so many search cards in Blue Eyes, but I would say I wish there were more good cards to search than there were search cards. Like, there's so many ways to search, but it's almost, you have to have something to actually search. And Bingo Machine Go basically lets you reveal spell and trap cards or monsters that have Blue Eyes in their name or text. So you can, any of the big Blue Eyes or the spell and trap cards like Destined Rivals, because it has it in its text, or Ultimate Creature of Destruction, stuff like that. And then your opponent basically looks at the ones you select and then randomly selects them. So it's a fairly consistent search card, but it is a hard once per turn, unlike the Melody. So I'm only playing 1 of that. Next, for our last spell, we're playing Soul Successor. Again, this is one I'm trying out. It is hard once per turn. Like I said before, it lets you attribute an effect monster and then send a monster your opponent controls to the graveyard, and then you can special summon a normal level 7 or higher monster to the field. So that could be a Blue Eyes, which is, it's always going to be a Blue Eyes. And then it makes basically your stuff live, like all your negates and stuff. You summon a Blue Eyes for free. But it's cool with stones too. Next, the trap cards. We play 2 copies of the new card, Destined Rivals. I was only able to pull 2, and I swear we opened like 30 tins. I was only able to pull 1. But basically what this card allows you to do is if you control a Blue Eyes or a Dark Magician, and it's cool that they're putting Dark Magician and Blue Eyes on one card, because they might make like a Blue Eyes Dark Dragon one day, because I don't know, they like combining various hero cards. But basically, yeah, we play 2 copies of that. If you control a Red Eyes or a Blue Eyes, you just basically negate all monsters your opponent currently controls, meaning on their field. It would be cool if it lasted for the whole turn, but it does not. It's only those particular ones, but it's basically like a free searchable impermanence, and you really can't complain about something like that. But yeah, I think it's pretty decent. Then we play 3 copies of Ultimate Creature of Destruction. This is another card that outs Dragoon very easily. But basically, this lets you target a Blue Eyes White Dragon, and it basically becomes totally impenetrable to everything. It can't be targeted, can't be destroyed. It's basically unaffected by all card effects. And on top of that, if it battles, you banish the card that it battled with, which is just really, really good. It basically can't be destroyed by battle. Unless they have a kaiju, they can't get rid of it. It has so much protection. It's unaffected by everything, and it can't be destroyed by battle. And if it does battle, your opponent's monster gets banished. It's non-targeting removal. And then on top of that, if you special summon a Blue Eyes, you can, and this card's in your graveyard, you can set this back to your field and then banish it when it leaves the field. Again, super, super good for the grind game. And this is imperative in the control version of the deck, in pure. Then we play 1 copy of Imperial Order. Usually, I know it seems kind of dumb because you're playing a lot of spells, but usually if you get something like 3 Blue Eyes or 3 big monsters and then you flip an Imperial Order, there's nothing your opponent can really do, because like, you already have gigantic monsters on your board, and a lot of decks start with spell cards, and if you just blanket negate everything, they're not going to be able to get over your huge monsters. But it's very good for that. Get a 1 copy of Skill Drain. Again, you summon monsters that are 3,000 attack. Whether their effects remain active, it doesn't really matter, because you're basically you're going to summon like three really big monsters and then negate everything. And it doesn't even matter, because they're going to try to like summon some sort of like an engine starter, like a Armageddon Knight, and you just flip Skill Drain, and they have to end their turn. Next turn you OTK them. It's not even a problem. 1 copy of Guard Dragon Cataclysm. I'd play more, but it's hard once per turn. Basically lets you tribute a dragon, pop 2 cards, like Icarus Attack. Super awesome. Definitely worth giving a try. And then 2 copies of Fists of the Unrivaled Tenyi. Basically, if you control a non-effect monster, you can negate a monster, spell, or trap effect. And then if this card gets popped, you can special summon a non-effect monster from your extra deck, which will typically be the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which is really cool. You get a free Blue Eyes Ultimate if they happen to pop this card, and it's face down. So that is the main deck. Let's move on to the extra deck. We play 1 copy of Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, another out to Dragoon. Really awesome. But basically, yeah, 4,500 attack. You get it for free anyway, and because this is Master Rule 5, you can summon it right to a main monster zone, and it doesn't clog up your lane. We play 1 copy of Twin Burst Dragon, another really good card, another out to Dragoon. A lot of people have just straight up cut this card. I've always liked this card because it outs huge monsters. Like, anything that's like just stupidly big in attack, it always outs. Like, it even outs things like the Sacred Beasts. It outs things like I said, the Dragon. Like, anything that's just really, really big. Like, if they have a huge board, it just lets you attack and then banish 2 monsters. And if you either destroy them by battle, or you banish them if you can't destroy them by battle. And all it takes is 2 Blue Eyes. It's super easy to summon. Then we play 1 copy of Spirit. You already know what this does. Spirit, Silver. 1 copy of Moonlight Dragon. We play 97 Dragbludian. Extremely important in the Blue Eyes deck. You must buy this, just because it gives you access to a lot of really, really good number monsters that you would never ever be able to summon in the deck otherwise. Then we have 1 copy of number 100. This you basically summon off of the Dragbludian, just because, yeah, you just detach, summon this, and depending on how many XYZs you have on the field, this card can have easily 17,000 damage. And this card, basically, as long as you can get 2 level 8s, you can OTK going second anytime you want. That's why this is a control deck, but it can OTK on a dime. Like, it's so easy to OTK in Blue Eyes at any given time, and cards like this make it so much easier. Then we've got Hard Earth. This is very good for going first because you can just interrupt them during their turn. They're going to set up a lackluster field, they end, and then you banish all their cards. Play 1 copy of number 38, spell negates. We play 1 copy of Cipher Blade, although I should have showed you Cipher first. Basically, this kidnaps a card, this pops a card. It's really, really good. Then we've got 1 copy of number 90, Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. It's monster. It just gives you monster effect negates. If you were playing like Galaxy Soldier in this deck, you could also get additional effects. Then we play 1 copy of Relinquished Anima. Steals a monster, also gets rid of your token. I mean, not your token, your little monsters, gets them off the field. It's a good play starter because you can, like, if you're going second, you can normal summon with the stones, and then, you know, link away into this, steal your opponent's monster, activate a stone. It's really good for that. 1 copy of Link Rebo, this is another option for the stones, and 1 copy of Galaxy Satellite Dragon. Although you can actually replace this with a copy of Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. But like I promised you, no Needle Fiber, because Needle Fiber is... basically, this profile is very pure, and it is essentially banlist proof, just in case that whole engine gets hit. But yes, if you enjoy this video, please leave a like. Let me know what else you guys want to see, and thank you for watching.